Good evening, guys. Man, I have had the wildest evening. Honestly, man. Bitcoin, huh? So marginally close towards that beautiful all-time high. When 8K, Tino? Bro, when we get close to it, who's talking about 8K now? No one. We're at 61, my bro. Don't worry about it because Bitcoin goes up and it goes down. But right now, we're at 61. Right now, we're heading towards what could appear to be the all-time high. Now, we saw a little bit of manipulation earlier on, but hey, I ain't going to tell you to take profits. Why would you? It came down and wiped out quite a significant amount of long liquidations because that right there was the climatic move. Now, there's more to this move. This move that happened could have been because of the market makers getting engaged with the negative gamma, okay? But is it done? No, it's not done yet, guys. We're seeing a couple of vector candles that Bitcoin likes to come back to. Asia tonight will be a very nice party. That's one thing for sure. But the question is, did anyone make any money today? If you made money, congratulations. If you jumped in last minute, you would have maybe paid the price. That's why you should always probe your bets. Test. Because that move was quite significant, especially at the speed that it occurred at. More importantly, I want to apologize for being so late this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I had a couple of personal matters to tend to. But we are here. We are here, and consistency is what it's all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the charts. We're going to break it all down. And then hopefully let you guys continue about your day. Let's have a conversation, gang. I surprise myself sometimes. Here we go. Yeah, I ain't ever telling anyone to pay themselves because apparently it gets a bit problematic when you tell people to take money off the table. You don't want to be paying yourselves. Goodness, God forbid you take money or take profits because trading's about how long you can hold a trade for, not paying yourself. Never will I say it again, ladies and gentlemen. I've said it enough times in these lives. And you know what? If you're saying it to yourself, and you've got it ingrained in your mind, then you're going to be the person that enjoys the fruits of this game. Okay? Let's have a conversation, man. All right, then. Bitcoin. But first things first, Coinbase. Like, literally what happened? Coinbase has a malfunction. Then we're starting to see these videos. I saw a video earlier on it's typical. It looked like Anonymous. And he was talking about, what the hell? He was talking about how you need to buy this token. Otherwise, we're going to, DDoS you again kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I can't find it anymore. But the big picture was Coinbase apparently crashed. It's always symbolic. I mean, it could have been a supply shock. You just don't know. Going over into the ETF itself, just to have a look at who has been buying and who's been selling. So Grayscale are up 2.2 billion. Not a bad day, I'd say. I mean, probably had better days, but BlackRock's only up 244 million. Just going down, and we can see that we have got Coinbase still picking up. BlackRock ETF coming into play. They're doing quite a bit of selling, to be honest with you. But the outflows aren't really affecting price. And this is something that we were talking about last night in the Discord with a gentleman. How come the ETF isn't really dropping down? Well, the outflows. But you can see, look, they've gone to the sweep of the high right here of $36, and now they've pulled it straight back. Now, what we're going to be looking at is trying to establish how likely Bitcoin is going to continue high. I mean, you've got a red vector candle right here, which could suggest that Bitcoin is going to get ready to start taking these zones. But ladies and gentlemen, on the back of all of this madness that has happened, even though it was mentioned by the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, XRP has done the best thing ever. It come down and it's just exactly where it was. You think it was going to do something. Solana pulls the flavorsome move to the upside, goes towards that 118 mark. Ethereum did really well, if I'm honest with you. It played out very well. I had a very small trade on Ethereum. I'm going to talk to you about my trading day today as well. I had a small trade on Ethereum, and we picked up a nice little bit of profit here. So we've got, it was only $400, 186 leverage, 184 leverage, but that's the game I play. I play that because I understand my relationship to risk. I'm cool with that. So once it recovers the vector candle, I'm going to close this off and I'm done. You know, it was a quick trade, but most of my trading today was done on the S&P today. So I'll just talk about that quick time. Where are we at with my trading? Here we go. So on my funded accounts so far, we've had a really good week. So, you can't see it. Here we go. So check this out. So today, passed another funded challenge. So we needed to make 16K. So we cleared that today. So we got another 250K funding. That was yesterday, 250. So 750,000 in funding again. And on the 3 funded accounts right here, we picked up just shy of around 6K today, which effectively brings our balance to 31. So we've had a good run this week. 4K on the 20th. Then we went to 9.5 nearly on the 21st. Then 23rd, we made up to 19,000. And then the day after, on the 26th, it was still the same amount. And then going into today, 31. So we've done really well on these funded accounts. So what I'm going to do now is effectively get this stuff. I've got to wait until I can withdraw the funds and then do exactly the same again on the accounts that I've just recently passed on the funded programs. So that's where we are right now. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 funded accounts just there. Those are the ones that I traded. I've got a few more now that I need to start working on. Keep these returns locked in until the withdrawal. And then the thing is, if I withdraw this money, okay, if I say, for example, this account right here is the 300K account. If I withdraw $9,812 from this account, that means I lose the account, okay? That's why I always will trade a challenge, pass the challenge, withdraw all the funds, close the account, and keep on doing that. So once I get to 10K on account, withdraw it, close it, trade it again, and build up the funded programs like that. That's how I trade it. And this is just off the S&P. Don't trade anything else. I'm just trading the futures markets with the S&P. And that was today on EXO Charts. So we were trading this range right here on the NASDAQ. All right. And NASDAQ today was it was typical, but it was in rotation. If you look at it, it was rotation right here. And that's what we were looking for. I was waiting for this breakout to the upside. And that's when I started to go long on the S&P. So this is an example, this range right here. It was a range breakout to come back into the previous vector candle zone. So if you go over to NASDAQ itself, we were always looking for this trade to the upside. Where is it? It was this area right here. Where am I? Here we go. So it was this vector candle zone right here that I was looking for. NASDAQ made the move up, green vector candle recovery, back down again, and now it's come back down, okay? So that's good news, all right? We've had a good week so far. Now, Bitcoin, 61,280, okay? So the idea is that Asia tonight, what's the criteria that you see right here, guys? The 5 and 13 EMA. Now, listen. In the Discord earlier on, we were talking about people were trying to short. And in my opinion, I said to short would be suicide. It really would, because the same way they marked prices down, same way it came back up. Anyone that took advantage of a V-shaped play from this move would have made an absolute killing on the retrace. You would have caught all of this move to the upside. Let me explain. So part of the strategy on the hybrid system, okay? When you see a move like this, if the vector candle, right, does not close strongly to the downside and starts to pull back before it closes on the 1 minute time frame, okay, there is a strong chance it's going to retrace back up. Now, it doesn't look like that much of a good move, okay? But when you go back historically and look at V-shaped plays with the confluences of the green vector candle, because we didn't get a vector candle over here, okay? Didn't get one, but we got one right here. All right, so they came down. So had you have waited for a vector candle to present itself, if you waited, you would have been able to catch the V-shape right here. If you caught the V-shape from here, then fair play to you, hats off to you, because that was a very tricky zone. But a lot of people were running for shorts. Market maker made them pay the price, and they squeezed price back up. Now we've got vector candle recovery. Look at that. That is despicable. That is despicable. 63,932. I mean, we had a good fun day in terms of setups for everybody in the platinum tier on the Traders Reality website. We did Euro, and Euro came through and hit 1,800 and 1.08400. We projected out 1.86363. So that came through nice. Let's just go and have a look at that. And then we'll get into some more Bitcoin price action just to review it all, because I've got some things to tell you. Here we go. So we saw that V-shaped play right there coming into action. Gold came through as well. So we saw gold make the same play. We had gold. Let's have a look. Where was gold? There was gold right there. So gold came through with the setup, came all the way up to the 2029 and some. Oil smashed it for us. Okay, so we had oil. We wanted 78.94 and we ended up seeing, what price was it? Yeah, there we go. So we ended up seeing 79.63, and then finally we had the S&P, projected the S&P. That's what I traded this morning on a retrace back up, but it didn't last too long. And then we had Bitcoin. I showed you this earlier on. Bitcoin to come up towards the 61,000. Happy days, it did that. And then, of course, Ethereum to come up towards the same range as well. We've been marking off certain vector candle recovery points for Ethereum, but she did very well to come down to only mark back up again. So that's the platinum guys on the Traders Reality website. So with that being said, Bitcoin finishing up like, look, 7.5%, man. It's absolutely phenomenal. And going into the 5-minute time frame to understand what's going on, you have to be careful with this, because now you're getting the criteria that Bitcoin could continue to the upside. Go to the higher time frames, daily time frame, and just look at the green vector candle, okay? So with some conventional wisdom in the trading world, that would mean the guys that solely rely on the candlestick patterns, okay? They'll look at this and be like, if knowledge serves me correctly, it's rising. Is it the rising shoulder, three soldiers or three crows? I've forgotten whatever it is. But the book you want to make reference to is Steve Nissen's Japanese Candlesticks, okay? Charting Japanese Candlesticks, all right? Now, candlesticks were derived from Japanese wheat futures back in the day in the 1700s, all right? So that's where the candlestick principle comes into play. The problem that we've got with the way we have society today is the candlesticks. They are a representation of the orders that have been accumulated inside, well, of an asset. So you've got to remember, back in the day in Japan, when they were looking at the wheat futures, they would go and have a look at the stockpiles of wheat. Then they would take that and then go and mark it off on a board. So there was principally order flow. They could see it, right? The candlestick in today's day and age doesn't really give you that unless you have an understanding of how things move. In other words, when you see a big bullish engulfing candle, which has engulfed all these days right here on Bitcoin, one would say that that is strength to see higher prices. And that's what's gone on here. That's what's gone on here. And that's what's happened here. Now, the green vector candles by the hybrid system, in principle, tell you that market maker is still running shorts to the upside. But remember, you're thinking, how's he making money on his shorts to the upside? Well, he's closing off his longs that he's been building since last year. And we are now heading into one of two final vector candles on the hybrid system. It's been very interesting witnessing Bitcoin go up. I said before, like, Bitcoin can break, even back down in this area here. Bitcoin can get above the 25K zone, wherever it was, the 25 region. Then we'll have a conversation about Bitcoin going higher, okay? And then it surpassed that. So guess what? We talk about Bitcoin going higher. I ain't going to talk about it going lower. It's going nowhere near lower. So why do I need to be worried about that? Am I bullish? Fuck no, I'm not bullish. I like movement and I trade movement and I exploit it. If you want to exploit it, stop worrying about where it should have gone because of what someone had said and trade what it's doing. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's the hard facts of trading. That's where it's at, okay? Everyone giving Capo stick, everyone doing all sorts. I'm not backing the brer. I'm just saying he said something. And one of his comments was, he's the last bear standing. Okay, he's the last bear standing. He's coming out and is he owning it? I don't know, okay? But when you're a trader, you're just looking for movement, all right? That's all you care about. And if you were waiting on Bitcoin to drop and you still kept on seeing it going up, then quite frankly, trading might not be for you, because then that means you need someone to hold your hand. Take the fucking trade, man. Just do it. Know how much you can lose and yippee-ki-yay. If it goes in your favor, happy days. If it doesn't, guess what? You lose an amount of money that you knew you were already going to lose. There's no surprises there. That's what risk management is all about. Knowing how much you are prepared to lose. Not having an exit plan is where you start losing a lot of money. Paying yourself, well, God forbid I say that, ladies and gentlemen. Please forgive me if I ever tell you to pay yourself. I'm having a hard day today. Forgive me. Bitcoin is yeah, I did, yeah, yo, listen, I did say 8K. I said 8K. I did say it. I said it. Look, I'll own it. I said 8K when it was down here, okay? I said it ain't going to happen straight away, but I did say Bitcoin is more than likely going to go to 8K by the principle of the hybrid system. You guys, so the 8Kers, they'll take 8K and be like, oh my God, 8K. And you'll wait until Bitcoin gets so high up because you're too scared to say it any sooner, just in case it does actually come down. All right? But I said, go listen to the lives. Get above 25K, then we're going to be turning to the upside. But you're going to pick and choose what you want to listen to. Welcome to the internet, you know? Smashing out those keyboard flavors, keyboard warriors. I don't give a fuck, ladies and gentlemen, all right? We're here to make money. If you made it, happy days. And if you've witnessed Bitcoin continue to go up, like, okay, guess what? The same way it goes up, it's the same way it can go down, okay? You could make yourself a nice bit of change, even on little movements like this. Does it look, this move from here? I got a guy, right? A guy went long from 51,000, okay? Sent me the message. He went long from 51,000 to 57,000, all right? He went long 100, I think it was 200x leverage, I believe. He went long at 51,000 and he sent me the screenshot buzzing because Bitcoin was at 57,000. That's 51,000 to 57,000, 200x leverage. I mean, okay, that is crazy, but he put a handsome sum down and now that guy's sitting nicely on 51,000 to 57,000, okay? That means what? He took the risk to go long from 51,000 to 57,000. Now he's sitting nicely at 61,000. He hasn't closed the trade, all right? This guy's been closing off the trade, taking the money, banking it, and it still just keeps on going up and up and up. It's not, you know, he's just making money. So it's a gravy train for him. But he went long at 51,000 and he sent it to me at 57,000. What am I trying to say here? If this thing's going to keep on going up, mark yourself a position where you think, okay, it could probably go up. Give it a chance to find its feet because you can get these little retraces up and down. Okay, if you factor that into your risk, then you're going to be able to take advantage of it. What was originally a scalp ended up becoming a swing trade. Okay, everything was going up. So that only could mean that if Bitcoin is at 61,000, it could go all the way up to 72,000. You guys are going to be happier than pigs in shit. You will, if you took a trade, even at 50x, even at 25x, and you put up, say, for example, you open, say you used $5,000, or even if you use $2,000 and you go in at 100x, whatever your leverage preference is, okay? Stop looking at the idea of the price that Bitcoin should have been for you to go long at. The price that it should have been. Because if Bitcoin continues from this point, from 61 to 100, that's exactly the same as Bitcoin at $20,000 going all the way up to around 60, 70, okay? It's exactly the same. If this thing's going to keep on going up and we've got such endorsement in cryptocurrency with BlackRock picking up this ETF all the time, and ladies and gentlemen, you can't complain. If it keeps working up, take a trade, man. Just take a trade. There's not, if you lose money, welcome to trading, man. The art is to try and lose as little as possible. And if you grab that right move, you grab the right move. Done. Why worry yourself over, oh my God, it's 61,000. You're using leverage anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyways. Why do I keep saying 72? Why do I keep saying 72? You know, the reason why I keep saying 72, ladies and gentlemen, is because I can't tell you. 72. Someone's clocked onto it. Someone's clocked onto it. I've been saying it haphazardly, and someone's now asked the question, kind of put me on the bloody spot. Okay. The reason why Bitcoin will go to 72. This is the all-time high, okay? 69,088. Above that point, that will take us towards the 72 region itself, okay? I genuinely think that the reason Bitcoin's going to hit 72 and retrace from it is because then that would put us categorically at a state of euphoria on Bitcoin. Now, I've been looking at the way Bitcoin has, this is just me just working something out. But I look at the highs, okay? And I think to myself, can we assume that there is some similar behavior inside of this range? So look at this. Some of you might think this guy's full of shit. Probably. 8%, okay? Came back up and cleared roughly around an 8% move. So they spent time working this high. I'm looking for a climatic candle at the all-time high. So if I'm going to see a climatic candle above the all-time high to the sum of 6.5%, I'm going to take that and say to myself, okay then, clear the all-time high, and where does that put me? That puts me above 72%. So I'm waiting for what appears to be, in my opinion, I'm going to see a climatic move above the all-time high, because the market maker needs to make you think that you're going to miss out on a big move. And they'll pull exactly what they did today with the sharp retrace, okay? Now, that's why it's been going on in my mind, because I've been looking at this for quite some time thinking they're probably going to do this. Because when they sweep an all-time high, right, they always come down and they'll try and come back up to it again and grab all the interest from the traders who got caught out in trying to long there, and then make them change their mind by thinking maybe it could come down, and you've got this sharp retrace, and then it comes back up again, and what have you got? It's principally an FTD, which is fool the dealer. I think the FTD of Bitcoin's move to the upside towards 72 will then bring Bitcoin back down to 65. That's what I think could actually happen with Bitcoin. No, it's not because I know any market makers, well, I do, but I not know anyone in particular who knows something different other than my friend Steve, but it's just putting together the behavior of the hybrid system. I went back and looked at all-time highs on various stocks, various indices, various currency pairs, and I found that there's this common theme when they hit an all-time high. They come above it, they come below it, and then they sweep up one more time to come back in. Because psychologically, we're thinking about the people that are buying into this area of the all-time high. They get excited, okay? So then just look at it from the S&P's point of view. We've hit the all-time highs, all right? Where's the all-time high on the S&P? Well, let's just go over to it right now, okay? There was the all-time high, okay? They swept the previous all-time high at the 4,819. What had happened after they had swept the all-time high? They came up ever so slightly. Look at that. They came up ever so slightly. They came all the way back down, okay? And then gave it to them again, and then they pulled it back down. And then, of course, NVIDIA and all of that gang stuff, they've just ended up marking price even higher and higher and higher, okay? So that's my logic for Bitcoin, to hit that 72 mark and then pull back, because then Bitcoin is in principle going into price discovery. Then that's when it's going to be so much easier for us to navigate if Bitcoin's going to continue or not. And I'm telling you, trading all-time highs is so much more easier. Why? Because it's now the test of who's willing to buy and sell. We're going to now start seeing truly who is holding Bitcoin by even going over to the Coinank itself and having a look over there. Look at this flavor, 16 million at 65. We wanted that 64 million, didn't we? 32 million at 64,400. And look, they didn't even take it. Look how close they were. By $100, man. Look how close they were to tapping that 32 million, 64,400. Look how close they were. So we're going to start seeing these guys coming in very, very soon. All right. And the why it's easier to trade the all-time highs is because you're able to then take momentum and take little trades off the back of it. All right. So, for example, you can see, let's just go on the 15-minute time frame, for example. You've got Bitcoin right now showing the promise of coming back into this red vector candle. This sharp move right here is no different to what they did earlier previously on the USDJPY. So look, check this out. Call it a flash crash. All right. But what's really happening, it's just an attempt to just grab the orders, okay, and just swipe. So look at this. Here's a flash crash. Nice sharp drop to the downside. They then end up scaling all the way back up and beyond. All right. But we've got vector candles for just to justify that move on dollar. Right. So we go into Bitcoin right now and we see exactly the same thing. We have a little flash crash to the downside, and then they've just marked price all the way back up because the liquidity that was absorbed on the drop down. I mean, look, man, the liquidations, it was just, oh, God, go away. Come on. This thing winds me up at best of times. Come on. Here we go. So you can see here, they just swept the liquidity, right? A lot of people were trying to run for the longs. If I go over to this over here, is it Liquidation Chart? There we go. That should come up now. Here we are. So look, they came down and they just smacked price, and then they came straight back up. People started to run longs from that. If we go into this over here, you'll see where they went long. 2 seconds. Sorry about this. Here we go. Look, this trickery right here. All of this, they had cleaned the 25x margins. Where are we? Here we go. So go to the key. Where's my key? Okay, so this pink line right here is the 25x. I'm correct. Yes, 25x margins. Here we are. Liquidations. Oh, Tino, man. Sorry about this, guys. Really sorry. What's going on here? You like flash crashes? Yeah, I'm going to have a look at some altcoins as well, guys. Don't worry. I will look at some of them. Where is it? Where's my liquidations, man? Where's the profile? Shorts, long, medium, leverage. You know what? I don't even care. But anyway, they just came and attacked all those short, all those long liquidations so far down. It was a treacherous move. But again, you shouldn't be paying yourselves, man. Don't be silly. Don't pay yourselves because you can experience these beautiful moves to the downside. Yeah, hedge traders will be having a laugh. They can run shorts and keep on their longs, happy days. But how would you know that was going to happen? You never know. That's the beauty of this game. You're just always left with surprise. Forgive my tone this evening, guys. I've just had a long, bloody night. I really have. Here we go. Wisdom's got the wisdom. You know, not a game. It's a money grab business. We in here, we want our cut. What do you think about JASMY coin? I'll tell you what I think about JASMY coin. Okay, absolutely phenomenal. It's just not stopping. Ugh, look at that, 2 cents. HBAR never fails. Comes down, straight back up. BNB, beautiful. Oh, wow. Look at that. Fantastic. Let's quickly go over to this. I want to show you something. Someone shared this to me in the Discord. Mad love for this, bro. Okay. Listen to this. 3.69 billion, 4.2 billion ETH, negative sales, futures markets, right? 1.22 billion, like 13.73 billion on Bitcoin. Like, oh my God. You know how much money was lost today? Like, really now, look at it. People have been losing money. I'm so reluctant to say it. I really am. You know? And this is BNB. Any questions, guys? Charts were totally corrupted after Coinbase went down. Questions needed to be answered. Yes, this is true. All right? This is very bloody true. Just quickly go over to EXO Charts to have a look at where we are for Bitcoin's order flow. Did you see that? What happened after the live? The story that we were having about the order flow where Bitcoin was going to start working its way back up towards the imbalances. Those of you that trade, look, this is where we were, okay? And they just, no, where was it? Here it is. It was this area here. Do you remember in the live earlier on? The offers. Let me explain something to you so that you can then use this, right? This area right here, just go and watch today's live stream earlier on. And then I'm gonna keep this live short and sweet, guys. Really sorry. But I'm gonna leave this with you. These offers right here, this is where people are buying. It's really what people are selling. Okay? Aggressive buyers move markets up. Aggressive sellers move markets down, right? But when does it stop? When there is too many aggressive sellers hitting the market with no orders to pick up, or they're being absorbed by lots and lots of limit orders. Okay? It's the same principle here. Offers had marked price up towards this area. So when we were looking at it earlier on in the live stream, we were expecting them to go up towards this point based on the interest of the offers. Because look, the offers were coming in each time. See that? 483. That was the trigger to start marking prices up. Traders were getting liquidated on the shorts to the downside. That was the next logical spot for us to assume that the offers are going to start getting engaged at that point. And that's exactly what had happened. Price had then gone up and swept the liquidity to the upside. Now, this is where you use the history of the bids and the offers. Remember, someone that is bidding Bitcoin at a particular price point, or someone offering Bitcoin at a particular price point, which means to buy or to sell, historically, we don't know if that person's $10 million bet on Bitcoin to buy it is part of a bigger order. We don't know. We just go over to the Coinank, for example. We go to the Coinank and we say to ourselves, what's this guy doing here? This guy right here has sold 1.1 million. This was the position. 1.19 million was the trade amount, the initial amount that was to be sold on Bitcoin at 64,300. However, 8.13 got offered out. So what had happened here was other guys who are holding Bitcoin, okay, may have got algorithms that are programmed to trigger sell orders at this price point, which is why we're seeing traded value coming in more than what the initial value amount was, which is why 681% increase. Well, it's actually 581% increase on top. So that tells me that the market's memory of sellers is starting to come into play when there are more people selling above what the initial order amount was. Because at that price point, it triggered a lot of people to sell off the backs of people buying. Because these guys cannot sell if no one's buying. All right? The same thing came into play with EXO Charts. They marked price up and swept the highs over here. Okay, so aggressive buyers were exhausted, but look, the sellers contained price. And that's when they dropped it down again, because the sellers were just like, you know what, I'm selling from this point. Now I'm done with selling. Let's start buying it back up again. This same area here had led to what? Another move back up. Hold on a second. Did we not just see that a few moments ago? Yeah, we did actually, didn't we? Yeah. We saw the offers come into play here quite aggressively. Price had then come all the way back down. The bids came in and started to, literally smack Bitcoin down. And then they stabilized at this point, which was near enough the VWAP. And then they ended up reversing back up again. And then they recovered the imbalances because there was aggressive buyers inside of this point. And then they marked price to the upside. And then they wanted to go and engage on the offers at that point again. So that means this area right here pretty much tells me that the market is going to be triggering a lot of sellers up here. That's where I can expect bidders to come in. And that's exactly what had happened on the retrace back down into the exact same zone that they reversed from. This is not support and resistance. This is the market maker, not the market maker. This is the market of bidders and sellers, okay? The market's memory, for the better word, is being triggered. Offers were there. They've come back into that zone. They swept it, but then the bids came in. Look, 230, 74, 126, 112, okay, 62. Then they started to mark price up because they had concentrated the amount of bids. They reversed it all the way back up again and did exactly the same thing to do what? To come back down again. The bids got engaged. Look, the bids right there. Bids. And then they came down again and they stayed in exactly the same range that they were able to bid from again. And then they just swept it all the way up. Like it is a game of repetition, guys. And now we're looking at this right here and you'll be seeing Bitcoin doing some very interesting behavior, okay? Because all of these guys right here that have gone long on Bitcoin on the bids, these are bid imbalances. Well, what do you want me to say? Red vector candle coming into play. Are we cool with that? Here we go. Tino lives in Peckham. What a road, man. That made me laugh. That made me laugh. Thank you for that. That is exactly how the market works. Please don't explain it for all. Here we go. Tino, should we be concerned that the volume on the weekly for Bitcoin is much lower than what it was at the lows? When it was at the lows. What lows are you talking about? So listen, that's the proof right now, okay, that the volume for Bitcoin, I mean, let's just go into it all. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look at the volume. We'll know about the volume. What you really want to be looking at is DeFi. You really want to look at the DeFi, man. Because of the Deacon, okay, so some money's come back. Because of the Denken upgrade, DeFi is going to go absolutely crazy. It really is. You know, does anybody stake? Because it's going to get very interesting once this Ethereum upgrade comes in by principle of scalability, security, and lower transaction fees and what have you. But you can see that the money's going into DeFi. Okay, it's all happening. Like, look at that, starting to climb up. So that's good news. Is it altcoin season yet? Where is it? Where's my altcoin chart? 61. Still boring. Oh, now it's 57. Oh, sell your altcoins. God forbid. Bitcoin dominance. Oh, my days. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is going to keep on going. So altcoins might have a little bit of a hard time. But then again, maybe not. USDT coming into play. We've seen the USDT chart coming in. They're probably going to come back down again. Remember, you guys, I told you about the 4.42. I know you heard me talk about the 4.42. Well, we're at that point right now because it's come back into a psychological point, ladies and gentlemen, where people had bought Bitcoin and when they had sold it. Okay, here we go. Right there. 4.42, wherever it is. There it is, right there. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's just go back into Bitcoin a second. Let's have a look what we've got over here. And yeah, so what was I looking at? I was looking at the volume. Here we go. So in terms of volume on exchanges, look, this is brilliant. Yesterday's volume, okay, was higher than what it was today. That just shows you volatility. It's pure volatility. Okay. And we have diverging weekly volume, MAC RSI, money flow, but Bitcoin doesn't care. See what I mean? It's, again, here is an example. You've got an indicator, MACD, RSI, divergences coming into play, but Bitcoin doesn't care. That's the problem with certain indicators, okay? You're set with a criteria, and then you're just seeing it just go beyond the criteria when you're looking for, and this is what's happening, guys. Look, this right here, these shorts right here are the guys that are looking at the RSI indicator thinking, oh my God, it's now at 172. That surely means Bitcoin should be coming down. It's not overbought. It's actually been, it's just absolutely crazy given that the RSI readings are like 70-30. It's actually beyond. So what do you do there? Well, look, the hybrid system, and you know, of course I was going to say that, but the hybrid system is not a system that is indicator based. We just call it an indicator. There are no signals on the hybrid system. We are getting raw information about how the market's behaving by the principle of imbalances, which is a vector candle zone 1, and then you've got another green vector candle. And someone asked the question, Tino, when you say split the chart, what do you mean? That's what I mean. Split the chart. If you see red vectors coming into play, the second you start seeing a gang of green and blue vector candles coming into action with no recoveries of the red vectors previously, mark off or split off your chart right like so. Wait for the first green vector candle to get above the 50 EMA. One could be this one right here, the first green vector candle. Now remember, this is the 11-hour chart. And then look left. You want to trade towards that point right there. Happy days. Green vectors, blue vectors appearing at the lowest point of the range. And then happy days to the upside. So if you had a problem going long at 42,000 and then not even closing it until you got to 63, well, you've made yourself a nice little return. Tino, is this finally the super cycle? Is this the parabolic? Well, let's just go back to what I was talking about in terms of indicators. The hybrid system will represent the behavior of human nature, okay? And all we've got to do is go back because these two price points, the last vector candle zone right here, okay? 69,000, we go left. Look at what you're going into, guys. So Bitcoin hit 63. We've still got this vector candle zone, 65.9. Okay? You got this little one right here, which bigger picture says, it's all the way up there, the final vector candle zones. Look how close we are. Just look. I can trade that logic. So I would not be shorting Bitcoin if I knew that Bitcoin was starting to work its way up and work previous vectors. Just look up before Bitcoin started to make the move from this morning, even last night. Going into last night's update, when we marked off the area of Bitcoin, where was it? Yeah, I deleted it. But last night when Bitcoin was around the 55, 57 zone, whatever it was, yeah, 57, 58, okay? At that point, we were, recovering vectors. The only next logical spot was to start working into these areas right here where previous vectors were, okay? Having that logic of knowing that someone went long over there beforehand, they're going to want to realize a return. So then when we start looking at MACDs and RSIs and then Bitcoin's just going against it, you're kind of like saying to yourself, I'm going to hope all the best for the MACDs and the RSIs. When you're taking indicators, right, your best thing to do is to either do one of two things. You either sit for hours and hours on end to expose yourself to instances where you can imagine it not going in your favor. And how do you gauge that? When it goes past a certain point, all right? If it goes beyond 70, for example, on the RSI, then logic would say that you'd be expecting it to come down. It's going into overbought territory. But then when it keeps on going up and up and up, when do you say that you're not going to go short? Or when do you say that I'm going to actually go long because it's clearly not doing what the RSI cares about, okay? Remember, RSIs and all that, they are somewhat in some nature, okay, depending on the time frame, right? Depending on the time frame. The shorter the time frame, the sooner you're going to see a bit of a realization on the RSI, okay? But in my opinion, if you're not factoring in the psychology of what the asset is doing, because right now everyone's going long, going crazy for Bitcoin, shorting it would be a wild thing to do. It really would. And some of you might think, yeah, but look what happened today. It dropped down. Okay, it dropped down for how long? 5, 10, 15 minutes. Not even 15 minutes, man. Okay? It came down, came back up. Came down, came back up. What is that? You call that short? Now, for the 1 minute time frame traders and the second traders, like if you're not getting smacked on fees, then okay. But that's terrible. You know, you don't want to be doing that. Okay, then. Tino, I'm a long holder. I'm up 200%. Yes, Yorgos. Okay. I'm up 200% on alts like Coty and Fetch. I probably need to start taking some profits. If Bitcoin sees rejection at all-time high, how do I know if I sell some 2020, 40 or alt season starts? You're asking the $1 million question, my friend, which we then go into line with the super cycle question by Blair. Okay? So most of you right now, I don't know how many of you, but how many of you, just out of this, right? How many of you are in the same position as this gentleman right here, Georgios Xenofondos? Am I saying it correctly? How many of you are a long holder and you are up around 200% on alts like Coty and Fetch, and you probably want to start taking some profits? If Bitcoin sees a rejection at the all-time highs, how do I know if I sell some 2020, 40 or alt season starts? How many of you are in this position? I'd like to know. Just type 1. Type 2 if not. If Tino won't say it, I will. I'm literally not going to say it, bruv. I'm not saying it. I'm going to wait for a few more instances. I'm not going to say it because I would hate to say it, because a move like this today is very, very fitting, and I want to try and be as sincere as possible here. But this fuckery right here was a told you so. Okay? Now, granted, you could be already in a long, all right? But what about the people? I don't know if anyone did decide to go long from Bitcoin from this point like here, okay? You could have gone long from Bitcoin yesterday or in the New York Brinks where you saw it starting to work up. Oh, my God. And it goes and goes and goes and goes. And you're like, yeah, man, it's going to all-time highs. And then sweep. Anyway. Tino taught me to take profits, no hard feelings about it. Yeah, I don't take no hard feelings. You know? It's like, even with today, with my trading, you know? Where is it? Right here. Oh, no, it's not there. Where was it? Is it there? Oh, forget it. Where's my trading chart from today? There we go. I held the trades for less than 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. It was about 8-9 minutes. It wasn't long. Now the S&P went in a direction that favorable for me. It was favorable for me. I could have held onto the trade, and each of these positions could have been easy 4-5K. Easily could have cleared 15K today off these positions. No problem. But no, why am I going to do that? Why? I've hit a target for the day. I'm cool with. Done. Keep smacking the profit taking. Keep taking the profits because they scale up, and then in the end, you know, you're installing consistency in your mind when you're trading. Because that's what this is all about. Get used to taking profit from the market, because we like to keep in the market and be engaged with the market because we like the idea of more. All right? If you come away from the idea of thinking about more and start thinking about taking, you'll tend to find yourself taking a lot more rather than having to wait for more. See what I mean? Like, there's a big psychological, something psychological there. Here we go. I got 3.46 worth of cat with hat. Hodl, pay yourself. 3.46 what? 3.46 million. Traders were robbed today. Yes, they were robbed. They were robbed. Okay, so going back to the question right now. She's good. Okay, I'm hoping. Hold on. Okay. Right. In answer to your question, Yorgo, what we've got to understand is in relation to the 2020-40, okay? When you accept that you're not going to grab all of the move, I mean, some people can, all right? Call it a freak of nature, but someone that's going to sell Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin at the point that it turns from, you're a G, okay? That's it. You are, as the Mandem would say in Peckham. I'm not from Peckham, but the old Birds Tottenham girl, right? But I don't support Spurs. Forget those yids, man. Neither Arsenal, neither Chelsea. I support the team that wins. I ain't gonna waste my time with a team that loses. Chelsea looked like they were going to win nicely on the Carabao Cup, but Liverpool won. We'll support Liverpool now, you know? Anyway, sorry, I'm going off track. But 2020-40 suggests the following, right? If you've got about 200% in profits, all right, and you take it, so now you have 100% in profits, you've returned your investment. Congratulations, all right? Because that's what an investor aims for, to make a return on his investment, all right? Now, what you're saying to me is that you're in fear that things are going to continue to go up. So now you're managing the money emotionally, right? You ain't going to be managing it well. If you take something from it, okay, and scale back, so by the principle of 20, 20, 20, 40, okay, the idea is to be able to capitalize and build this guy up, because it's this guy that's going to allow you to capitalize on a few altcoins that experience a wild drop and then they just climb back up. You've got in because you got a nice, handsome amount of money. And people give me so much stick for telling you to pay yourself. If you want me to be one of those people that says, hold on, ladies and gentlemen, don't sell, don't sell. That's fucking irresponsible. Sorry. You got some money in the table on the charts, take something, give yourself something from it because you can get back in. Look at the guy who went in at 51 and he's now at 61, okay? He originally wanted it as a scout, but it went from 51 to 57 when he told me about it. A 7K move in Bitcoin. Wow. Congratulations, bro. People bitching about stuff, man. It just doesn't make sense to me, all right? It's irresponsible to not encourage you to take something off the table. Get used to paying yourselves. It's a nice feeling. It's not nice knowing that you could have taken some money and you didn't. Now you're sat there looking at red. Red, red wine. Close to my stop loss. Don't you forget my love. Anyway, you get it, all right? If I didn't sing that, then I wouldn't make an impression on your mind the next time you're looking at a position, all right? I might sound stupid doing it, but at least you remembered it, okay? The art of it is to try and make sure that you can build as much of this as possible so that when the next retrace comes into play, a good corrective phase, all right, then we then assume that we can then start picking up more of whatever it is that we want to get in because we've got the cash to do so. When you are locked in to your investment and you can't do nothing, all right, you're kind of putting yourself in a bit of a limited spot, all right? Now, I don't know what everyone's situations are like in terms of selling your crypto and tax and what have you, but it's the thought process. That's all. You know? Tino, thanks to you, I started with $50 and now my portfolio sits around 200 to 300 due to 2020 40. I just get out and get back in on red days. Thank you. No problem. Earbuds wrecked, please. Your earbuds have just experienced divine intervention. Tino, why did the miners crash? Did they crash? I wasn't paying attention. I really wasn't. Why did the miners crash? Did miners crash? Today's live stream has had no preparation, guys. Sorry. It really hasn't. I've just gone straight into the charts. Okay. Tino, where can I access EXO Charts? Can you look at EXO Charts for fetch with AI narrative like this chance for $10? Huh? Bought at 28 cents. Accent was perfect. Cypriot accent. Of course my accent's perfect. I am fluent in Greek. I just don't speak the flavor. What does 2020-40 mean? How many of you are new and you do not know what 2020-40 is? Tino, why did I go long at 64K? I don't know, bro. Why did you go long at 64K? How many of you are new here tonight? Sorry, guys. It's just not normal routine for me like this. I normally got an ebb and flow, but if you are new to this channel, I'm going to give you this 2020-40 and go. Make sure you like the stream and subscribe if you want a little bit more flavor like this. We usually talk about quite a few things. We usually do news and what have you, but tonight has been a very interesting night for me. I'm not going to live it down, the fact that the fact that I've started singing. Tino, I'm here for 3 months. I realized on higher time frames, when we zoom, the vectors, they behave exactly how they are designed. If you go back into the channel, go back and watch the lives, okay? You'll know that they always come back to the vectors, okay? They always do. That's it. All right, then. If you are new, okay, cool. Okay, then. So 2020-40, this is for you guys. I'm going to give you an example of areas where you engage in 2020-40, right? So 2020-40 is the principle of you distributing your portfolio or your capital in 20%, 20%, 20%, 40%. This is Jesse Livermore's approach. If you don't know who Jesse Livermore is, go and find out who Jesse Livermore is. In my opinion, the world's best stock trader of his time. He made 100 million, lost 100 million, made another 100 million, then he killed himself. Not because of trading. Something to do with his missus, all right? But this guy was buying yachts. He was deemed the bear of Wall Street. He was told, stop shorting the banks. 1929. Wall Street crash. Jesse was short. Of course he was. Of course he was short, man. The best trade of your life. You were short when the economy collapsed. Banks knocking on the doors. Please, can you stop shorting the market? Do you know why they were knocking on his door? Because Jesse Livermore used to prepare his charts locked in the bank's vault where he would have his cash. They would provide him a little bed, some drinking and eating, and a little vent, and he would calculate where he was going to spend his money and buy stocks. Why? Because he wanted to visualize the amount of money that he was exposing it to. All right? Jesse Livermore. came up with this story about the 20-20-40, which means that if you have $10,000, okay, commit 20% of that into whatever venture it is that you're looking into. Let's say, for example, Bitcoin, all right? You're looking at the price. You open, it doesn't matter. You just commit 20%. You wait for a little bit of time to see how Bitcoin's doing, all right? In this instance, it's going down. You then say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to load up a little bit more because at this instance, Bitcoin's going down, but I believe it's going to go up later on. You then put another 20%. So that means you've got $4,000 of your 10K, okay, currently sat in Bitcoin. So now you're waiting, now you're waiting, now you're waiting. And then you see it, Bitcoin drops down a little bit more. You know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm either going to put another 20% in, which makes it 6K exposure. I'm going to see how Bitcoin goes. Then all of a sudden, Bitcoin just collapses. You're looking at your investment thinking, wow, still got another 40% for me to really take advantage. I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to see how the market fares after this big drop to the downside. Cool. You then load up on the 40% right there. Okay. That's the practice. And the idea is as follows. Okay. Imagine you've come to the chart. Bitcoin's going down. This is your first 20%. This is your second 20%. This is your third 20%. Then you see Bitcoin drop to the downside. This is where your 40% goes. Okay. Now, this is for the DCA guy. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it like that. You could then say with your 20-20-20-40, you might say, right, this is what I'm going to do. If Bitcoin does come back in my favor, based on what you're witnessing right now, it's coming back up, okay? So this is what happened here. Here is an example. This area right here where you loaded up the 40%, okay, you've got the biggest position in big profit. You've now come back into profit on this position. You've come back into profit in this position. You're now in towards break-even position on this one. Right now, everything is looking good. So go back to the 20-20-40 logic. What does that mean? Do you just sit there and hold it? Actually, you know what? No, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the profit from this 20 zone right here. Okay, I'm going to take that. So now I've taken off the 20%. I've got $2,000 in my pocket. All right? Bitcoin continues to go up. Right now, I'm going to take this profit. That means I've now got 40%. Now I've got effectively 60% of my capital sat in the chart, but I've earned money off the 40% that I've had already in there. So now I'm waiting. Now then Bitcoin continues all the way to the upside. I then make the conscious decision and say, you know what? I think it's going to correct back down ever so slightly. All right. I've still got 220% as there, or 40% of my balance, right? That I can actually utilize right there. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 20% to see how we fare, okay? If Bitcoin keeps on continuing to go lower, I might want to get rid of this 40% just in case. So I close it off. I've got enough profit from it. Now I'm back to square one, effectively. I've got the bigger balance waiting for another big move. That's how you play it. 20-20-40, ladies and gentlemen. The 2-2-2-4. 420. Anyways. Kind sir, you do not need to call me sir. It's all good. How to enter those 50-100x leverage trades, because one wick down will wipe out the margin example. Well, where's my example right here? I mean, it nearly happened. $400 is now $2,000, it's nearly $3,000. Went in at 187x. The reason why I went in at that position is because Ethereum was showing me, this is, I projected this move out, sent it to the platinum members on the idea that Ethereum was going to continue higher, okay? It went higher. My liquidation was, check this out, the liquidation was 3,161, okay? It went to 3,000. Where did it go? 3,166. I may not have been able to show you this, all right? But this was just off the whim. I just saw it like Ethereum's going up, Bitcoin's going up, and I just took the trade. Just $400. Nothing significant. Nothing, big like exposure. I'm happy to lose $400 because I know what I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose $476. Done. No problem, because I accept it. I don't care what happens. If it goes in my favor, cool. Now, if Ethereum continues and continues and continues, well, if it does sweep up above this zone, because I'm going to bed tonight, right? I'm gonna lock in a lot of the profit and only give it very little freedom to really move, because that's it. I've just made the money. I'm not interested. I have no bias to wanting more. I took a trade. I was right on the trade. That's what I reward myself with. The fact I was right. And that's what I look for every single day. How you do it? Well, it's all down to, you know, your exposure. And this is like, look, I'm using small amounts here. I'm not putting down stupid size. I'm using a lot of leverage, but I'm cool with leverage. I'm flexible with it. Why? Because I've sat through enough times getting blown out by leverage to understand how to use it. Volatility's coming in. Cool. All right, then. It came in our favor. This sweep lower, man. Wow. I was looking, I was like, and you know what? I didn't even notice it actually happened because I was out and I came to the chart. I was like, what on earth happened? And I witnessed it. I was like, wow, I narrowly missed it by $2, $3. But if you know what you're going to lose, fine. This is where I say to you, your liquidation. It didn't matter to me, okay, because it's a small amount. What matters is when you start putting down flipping margin. When this figure right here, okay, is around 7 or 8 grand, that's when liquidation matters. You do not use your liquidation as your stop. But when it's a small amount, it doesn't matter. That's my opinion, okay? Are we cool with this, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, my TP on ETH was 6. Yeah, if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't matter. It's just a TP. Just put one up there, just in case you get a significant wick. Something like this could happen to the upside. You know about those wicks on Binance, on Bybit sometime, or never on Bybit, but you know those exchanges where you can see a massive wick. Those orders could get filled. You just don't know. You don't know. Did you expect that to happen today? No one did. There we go. Tino, are there not any institutional short sellers? Of course there are. You just don't know where they're selling from. Just because Bitcoin's going up and up, ask yourself the question why it's still able to go up. Institutional traders trade off bigger time frames. Dailies, weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies. All right? These little moves in Bitcoin, they're from 60,000 to 62. And these guys are looking at bigger pictures. We don't know. They could be running a sell program right now to short the life out of Bitcoin. You don't know. You really don't know. Take each day as it is. Ladies and gentlemen. Lol. Know how 16K loss in one day for not taking profits when I saw it. Lol. Oh, wow. Never mind. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel, please be sure to like the stream on the way out. Thank you so much for your patience and your time for tonight. And happy birthday to anyone if it is your birthday today. Take care of yourselves, gang. Check out tradersreality.com. It's in the description of the video. Peace.